Well, welcome everyone. It is so fun to hang out with you. So before we get started, tell me how many of you, this is your first ever Norwex party that you've gotten to attend. Put in the chat if this is your first Norwex party that you've ever gotten to attend, all right? Awesome. Okay, so good. All right, yay. I see some of you raising your hands. Awesome. So I think it's only fair to warn you that by the end of our time together, you're going to want it all. Okay, we call this condition Norwexia. It is a real thing. It has no bad benefits, just good. But when that happens, your best bet is to consider hosting a little get together online or in person, just like this, because Norwex, I love our company that they are so insanely generous to our hosts who share Norwex with their friends. Today, I'm going to take you through our top 5 selling products. Then I'm going to tell you about my favorite cleaning product in our catalog. I can't wait. First, let's talk for a second about cleaning. All right, put in the chat if you like to clean or if you hate to clean. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I don't actually like cleaning, but I love a clean house, okay? Would love to hear if you guys are cleaners or if you don't love it, okay? So let's talk about cleaning. There's 3 main ways that you can clean. You can clean thermally, which is using enough heat to hopefully kill everything. You can clean chemically, which is what most of us were trained to do. Or you can clean mechanically, which is what I'm going to teach you tonight. All right. At my parties, I bring a bottle of disinfectant wipes. But since those are technically classified as a pesticide, I didn't want to get stopped at customs. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to try and travel with this. So if you happen to still use this at your home, and I know many of you don't anymore, but if you do, I just invite you, as I go off memory, to grab your canister of disinfectant wipes. We're going to stop for a second and we're going to read the label. All right. I don't actually have mine, but I'm going to go off memory. So on the front, mine says caution, keep out of reach of children or something like this. Don't quote me on this. I'm going totally off memory. But one thing about disinfectant wipes is that most of our world use them a lot when we faced what we've come through in the past, 3 years. And I feel very passionate. When you read the data information on these, they should never be put in the hands of children. So whether that's wiping off school desks, whatever. All right, go ahead and flip it over to the back and it should say caution or something. It'll be a note that it is a federal law not to use this product inconsistent with its labeling. Whoa. Okay, that should make us all go, what? There's a federal law that says you have to use this the way it's labeled. Why? Because when we misuse chemicals, we can actually cause more damage than good. Because if we don't use them right and they don't kill what they're supposed to kill, what doesn't get killed gets stronger, right? Okay, we don't want that. Okay, let's keep reading. It says something like sanitize and disinfect. Mine says pre-clean the surface. And then it says use enough wipe to wet the surface for the appropriate contact time. So then it goes on to disinfect a surface. The surface must remain visibly wet for at least 4 minutes. Have y'all ever timed 4 minutes and watched if you could keep a surface visibly wet with chemicals for 4 minutes? Like it's crazy, right? And then it says do not use on porous surfaces. So you would never want to use this like on granite countertops, right? And then it says for food surfaces that come in contact with food, be sure to rinse it afterwards. So if we're actually using our chemicals the right way, we're pre-cleaning the surface, then we're using enough chemical to keep it visibly wet for the intended time, and then we're cleaning it off afterward. That's how, but I dare say most of us didn't used to use our chemicals that way. Amen? Give me a shout, right? And some say 10 minutes to disinfect. You're right. So there's that. And then it also says caution, hazards to humans and domestic animals. And my question for you is, are there any humans at your house? Because I've got 6 at my house. How about any domestic animals? Okay, so this is why I'm so passionate about Norwex 15 years later. We still have a chemical aisle in our stores that most people believe they have to walk down that aisle to properly clean their home and care for their family. But with Norwex, I'm going to show you a way that you can now switch from that chemical mindset to mechanically cleaning virtually your entire home with just water. And that makes me so happy. It's going to save you so much time. It cuts most of our cleaning time in half. That's kind of the average. It's going to save you loads of money. Imagine if you don't have to walk down that aisle and buy the turbo pack of paper towels and the disinfectant wipes and the sprays and the potions and all of that anymore. It's going to help you protect your health. More and more studies are coming out that have linked chemical exposure to health problems. So why not detox our homes? And you know what else I love is by switching to Norwex, it helps us take better care of this amazing planet. I like to give an analogy. I'm a very visual person. So imagine you have a weed in your front yard, okay? And you've got a couple options. You can go to the garage and get that weed spray. And if you go back out and you use enough of the chemical and you let it set long enough on the weed, then tomorrow, hopefully, if it did its thing, you have a dead weed with a bunch of chemical residue on it in your front yard. And that is really what we're doing when we use chemicals. If we use enough, let it set long enough, then if it does its job, there's a bunch of dead bodies with chemical residue left behind. Now, with Norwex, it's like that same weed, but instead of going to get the weed spray, you grab a little shovel or you use this amazing picker-upper God gave us, and you pull the weed. Now you have nothing left behind, no dead bodies, no chemical residue. And that's what makes me so excited about Norwex. All right, I'm going to take you through our top 5 sellers company-wide. This is what we call the Safe Haven 5 set. And so I'm going to just take you through those 5 products first. Norwex started in Norway. It stands for Norwegian Experience. And it started with the ever so popular EnviroCloth. Okay, now you're going to love that the tags are going to tell you what this cloth does. These are also how you can hang them to dry. So this tag is awesome. All right, so the EnviroCloth, with this one cloth, I like to call it my everything cloth, because with this one cloth, you can clean virtually every surface in your home. Like, no kidding, okay? Now, what makes it different from the microfiber you go pick up at the dollar store? You know, that's always the question, right? So I'll give you the 4 main key differences. Number 1 is the size of the fiber. So to be labeled microfiber, it needs to be at least 1/6 the size of a human hair. So imagine you pluck a hair, you give yourself 6 split ends. I know, ladies, we don't want that, but just say, that's how tiny microfiber has to be. But Norwex microfiber is at least 1/200th the size of a single human hair. And that is truly micro. So when you're using this cloth, this EnviroCloth to wet, you wet it with water, wring it out, and you're wiping all your surfaces, those very microfibers are able to sweep in even to those little microscopic spaces. The second thing is the amount of fiber in the cloth, like the thread count, if you will. So anyone want to guess in the chat? And if you know, don't guess, all right? But if you don't know, how many miles of microfiber do you think are in one EnviroCloth? Miles. How many miles of microfiber in one EnviroCloth? I'm going to give you guys a second. It's always fun to see. So there are 1,800 miles of fiber in one EnviroCloth. And so if I were able to unravel this cloth, that would mean it would stretch from Canada all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. All right, that's crazy. And that's the second reason this cloth is going to clean unlike anything you've put hands on. It's amazing. The third thing that is unique about our backlock microfiber is the silver that is embedded into the fiber. Now, anyone know what silver is good for? Put in the chat what silver is good for. And let me ask you, while you're doing that, how many of you have experienced the stinky dishcloth or the sour hand towel at your house, or maybe someone else's house? Maybe not your house if you use Norwex, right? How many of you have ever had that dishcloth that just got stinky? And my question for you is, what makes it stink? What makes those cloths stink? Things growing in them, right? And so I see some of you guys saying it's antimicrobial. You're right. Silver is a naturally antimicrobial surface. So why would Norwex decide to embed silver into these teeny tiny fibers? Because if I'm going to teach you how to clean with just water, removing up to 99% of bacteria from the surface with just our microfiber and water, then you need to know this isn't going to become just a bacteria stinky factory. That's the amazingness of our backlock technology. And the fourth thing that sets Norwex apart is their 2-year warranty on their microfiber. How many of you have bought cheaper microfiber, you know, the other stuff that you can pick up wherever? And it works great maybe the first couple times, but before you know it, you're needing to replace it because it doesn't work long-term. One of the things you're going to see with Norwex is quality and longevity. I still have some of my cloths from when I started my business in 2009. So that's your EnviroCloth and what sets Norwex apart. Now let's put it into action. I usually smear butter on the mirror, but we're going to do some of the amazing Norwex body balm. If you do not have Norwex body balm, you need to put that on your list. Okay, so can you guys see that? Awesome. So I just put solid, straight up shea butter. So if you took your typical window cleaner and paper towels and you tried to clean that, tell me, friends, what would happen? It'd be a streaky mess, right? Okay, so first thing, with your EnviroCloth, you're going to wet it with water, wring it out tight. And you want to use it flat, not scrunched, because when you are mechanically cleaning, you're thinking differently. Now you're removing everything instead of trying to chemically kill it, right? So you want all the surface contact you can get. So fold, not scrunch. Now the EnviroCloth has a very best friend called the window cloth, all right? So the Enviro and the window cloth. And the window cloth, I'm going to use dry here. And I just have a couple other patterns that are available in our catalog for a screen there. Okay. Now, how many of you, when you go to a hotel, the mirrors look pretty sad anyway, even before you smear shea butter on them? All right. So now we're going to take the window cloth. So first I did that damp EnviroCloth. So I have some water on there. You can see the residue that they've used before. It's kind of like you're going to work through old cleaning residues, all right? There you go. I don't know if you can see that. When you're switching from chemical cleaning to mechanical cleaning, remember that every time you use a chemical, honestly, even if you just use vinegar, like it might not be toxic, but all those things leave residue and it goes down in layers. So sometimes when you switch over to Norwex, you got to pull that residue off in layers. Okay. Okay. Now next up, so that's our EnviroCloth window cloth, and it will make your stainless steel shine, your mirrors, your windows. If you have black appliances, if you have glass tables, patio tables, stainless steel faucets, I promise you, when you switch over to Norwex, people will start showing up at your house and be like, how do you keep your faucets so clean? And you'll be like, my secret of just water. It's amazing. All right. Next up is our dusting mitt. So how many of you hate dusting? So I know so many of my friends who have actual like sneezing, coughing fits when they dust. Why is that? Most of us hate it because A, you do it and 5 minutes later, all the dust you relocated resettles, right? It doesn't actually do the job, which is also why it makes you sneeze and cough. What I love about our dusting mitt is this is that same amazing fiber, but it's more plush, okay? So it's got a little bit more deep of a nap to it. I think that's the right word. And it works on static clean. Now, I love one dust mitt. I love two even more. And I like to charge them up to get them really ready to vacuum up dust. And when I first started my business, I brought my products over. One of my friends, many of you would know her, Tiana, she was getting ready for a family reunion and she and I were friends. I had just gotten my products. And so I said, hey, if I bring them over, you want to use them while you clean? And she came back and actually she's like, okay, how do I sign up? How do I become a consultant? I was like, well, what happened? Like, I mean, come on, this is crazy. And she said, well, I always react when I dust. And for the first time, when I used that crazy dust mitt that was in your stuff, I didn't sneeze or cough or have any reaction. The reason is this actually collects the dust, which is a huge win. The rubber brush we're going to talk about in a minute, but this is great for getting all the puppy hair, kitty hair, if you've got fur babies, dust into the garbage. And then it also recharges that static cling that makes this work. Speaking of static cling, let me tell you really quick how easy it is to care for our cloths. You wash them in the washer and dry them in the dryer. Like they're so easy. I am going to give you 3 rules. Okay. Number 1, no fabric softener or dryer sheets. And now, if you can let me get on my soapbox for a minute, I'm a health nut. I'm all about wellness. I feel like when we take care of our body, we're able to live life more fully. And I'm all for that. What I've learned from my research, and I would encourage you to do your own research, Google toxicity of fabric softener. That's a safe place to start. But, when I started doing the deep dive on these products, I realized that one of the quickest, easiest ways for me to decrease my body's chemical burden was to clean up my laundry. And I actually grew up using all the main names. If I said them, you'd be like, yep, orange bottle, yep, blue bottle, yep, you'd be tracking with me. And I thought it smelled lovely because it's all I had ever smelled was clothes that smelled like that, special cocktail. Later, I had a friend challenge me and say, have you researched it? I had to admit I hadn't. And I researched things. I'm a truth girl. I'm a deep diver. So I was shocked I had not researched it, but I hadn't. So I did that day. And I'm always grateful for friends who call us out like that. And because that's how we help. When you know better, you can do better. I did the research. I have not used them a single day since. So I encourage you to do your own research, but so I'll get back to how to care for our cloths. Don't use it on Norwex Microfiber because what's going to happen is that chemical mix is going to coat the fibers. Number 1, your dust mitt's not going to work anymore because it works on static cling. But number 2, that silver is going to get coated and it's not going to be able to do its job either. So just don't. And I encourage you to reassess all of your laundry products from a health standpoint and go clean. I would vote Norwex. Like I'm super impressed with that. Next rule, no bleach. Bleach is very hard on what it comes into contact with, and it's going to wear your clothes out faster. And number 3, don't wash them with linty loads. So don't throw the Norwex in with your terry towels. But I don't mind. I'm not opposed to throwing them in with blue jeans or some workout clothes or whatever, just not the linty stuff. Now, I do recommend that you find a good laundry detergent without the fillers, without the fake fragrances. We could just go down so many bunny trails here, but we're going to keep it because I know I'm on a time clock here. But do your research, you guys. I just plead with you because, even like our children, their little body burden of chemicals is so much higher today than yours and mine was when we were their age, because there's just so many more chemicals and exposure. So we can do what we can do within the 4 walls of our home. And laundry is just a very good place to start. Speaking of awesome laundry detergents, in the Safe Haven 5 set, when you get this, our most popular starter box for most people who are new to Norwex, but you get to choose your own detergent. And so I'm just going to quick talk you through the 3 options. Ultra Power Plus has long been a top seller at Norwex with good reason. This is economical. It is the best. I just had tried so many laundry detergents. And when I used this, I couldn't believe I just used a teaspoon in a load and it got my 4 boys' clothes clean. Now, any of you who have boys, especially when they were little, that's a testimony right there. Okay, so I love this. If you have an HE machine, I feel like I get by with a teaspoon per load, but everybody, you're going to check your water because different hard waters or whatever. So that's our powder option. It's septic safe and HE safe. Another option is our laundry strips, and these are so eco-friendly and super convenient. So you just literally take out a strip, drop it in the washer. People who love these are people who don't like to take up much space. If you're into decluttering, this is your thing. Look at that. Right there, you have 36 loads of regular laundry, and I find if they're small loads, like a college kid, well, maybe college kids loads are small and maybe not. It depends on how often they do it. I have 2 boys in college right now, and I would say theirs are massive because they don't do it very often. But anyway, you can do a half a strip. It's also great in RVs. It's great for anyone who loves easy. This is the current favorite at the Eckel household. This is our liquid laundry soap. It comes in unscented and lavender. Now, for years, I've cut fragrances out of our products because I did the research, and there's so many of those synthetic fragrances are not good for you. And so when I saw the lavender, I was like, oh, what am I going to do with scent? After so many years of really going pretty much scent free. And I find I absolutely love it. And I love that Norwex has a very strong no list, that they keep it clean and a good source of lavender, right? But choose unscented or lavender. This has enzymes. Remember the four boys? Yep. So if you have stinky clothes, if you have pet beds or, volleyball knee pads, any of the little extra stink, you're going to love this one. But pick any of them. I promise you, you cannot go wrong. This laundry lineup is amazing. All right. It's also been, I've heard from many, many customers that they had sensitive skin. And so they're very cautious about trying another one, and that it passed with flying colors. But we always say, test it out for you. All of our products have a 60-day satisfaction guarantee for that reason, because we want to make sure they work good for you. And then the fifth item in our Safe Haven 5 set is the cleaning paste. Okay, so the cleaning paste, honestly, you will not need this very often, but when you need it, you'll be so glad you have it. So this is like, did you all grow up with one of those scouring powders under the sink? If I threw brand names, you'd be like, oh yeah, totally, right? Well, those have an insane number of ingredients in them and aren't super healthy. Well, this is like the Norwex version of a scouring powder. It's a chunk, okay? So when you get it, I've had customers call and say, I think my paste went bad. So no, your paste didn't go bad. It actually comes like this. It's a chunk, and it's made out of marble flour. Is kind of that core scrubby factor to it. So then you're going to take your cloth wet with water, and you're going to roll it on here. And then that's your scrub. And so this lasts forever. We kind of joke around, we're going to be willing it to our kids. They're praying that we're going to will them something other than cleaning paste. But anyway, I use it on our smooth top stove. You can use it if the tub gets a little grungy, shower doors, rust on bike wheels, the soles of your tennies, that sort of stuff. So that is our Safe Haven 5. Now, there's a lot of ways to get our product into your home. You can buy it, and friends, I promise you, it is worth every penny. That's honestly why I'm still here as a consultant and sharing these products with the world. Is these products have such immense value. They're going to help you protect your health, create a healthier, safer home. They're going to save you money. They're going to save you time. So if you choose to invest in these products, it is a wise investment, okay? And they're worth every penny. But as my friend Lana would say, free is my favorite 4-letter F word. And so you can also earn and Norwex your home for free by hosting a little online or in-person demo like this. And I hope you had fun tonight. And I love doing my demos. I love connecting with people, hearing their challenges, and help them solve their cleaning problems. So hosting a show is a great way to get free stuff. Or you can do what I did 15 years ago, which is crazy. By the way, you guys, when I started, my oldest was 6, my second was 4, Benji was maybe 1.5, little Sam was not yet born. Norwex has allowed me to be an at-home mom to these 4 boys, and now they are 21 tomorrow, almost 19, almost 16, and 13 years old. I just am beyond grateful that Norwex afforded me the opportunity to have another stream of income. When I quit doing my full-time physical therapy work, I was able to come and build my business here. And it has been game-changing on about every front. And Willie and I just celebrated our 23rd year of marriage. So then you can do what I did. You can get the products that I've talked about, the 5 Safe Haven 5 products. So be sure to connect with your consultant, check in with him or her. If you want to purchase, they'll get you a link, help you get these products in your home. I always recommend look at the bundles, because we know bundles save you money, right? So look at those when you're getting started. If you want to host a show, again, connect with your consultant, see if they can get you all set up on that. Or if you're really thinking, I think I would be interested in looking at this as another income stream for my family and for me and for my sanity. And, honestly, when I was an at-home mom of those littles, I couldn't wait to go out and be with adults, right? Like as much as I wanted to be home with them, I also loved those parties because it allowed me to get out and be with amazing people. Thank you for joining me tonight here in my beautiful hotel room.